Hello everyone, I am K. Sadashiva. Welcome to my channel KLR Educators. As announced earlier, we have launched a new course on world modern history. So I request everyone to go through that videos in the playlist of my channel. So we'll be covering everything in the perspective of UPSC and we'll be covering everything in detail which will be helpful to you for your prelims as well as mains examinations. So in our previous lecture, we have discussed everything about the doctrine of lapse. So now we are going to discuss the regulating acts that were passed by the British, the reasons why these regulating acts were passed, and what are the consequences that the East India Company has to face after the passing of these regulating acts. So let's start with our today's lecture. Regulating Act of 1773. So what was the need that the government of British has to pass this regulating act? These acts were passed for political consolidation and also considering the ongoing situations in the country. The prime motive behind passing the regulating act was to establish a strong political consolidation in India. And also, when they came to know that the East India Company, which was ruling in India, was carrying out lot of corruption, they wanted to abolish the monopoly that was given to this East India Company in trading. So these acts gradually subsumed the East India Company's monopoly. So this regulating act of 1773, next 93, 1813, 1833, all these subsumed the East India Company's monopoly to trade with India. By the year 1857, the East India Company completely lost monopoly to trade with India. So after the revolt of 1857, when the Britishers defeated Indians, the British government decided to completely abolish the monopoly that was given to East India Company. So it will be done by the passing of Government of India Act 1858. So the charter which was given by the Queen of England got ended by the Government of India Act 1858 that was passed by the British government, which was abolishing the monopoly of East India Company. These acts regulated the existing policies. So these acts were passed gradually and at regular intervals to regulate the existing policies. Some of the positives of these regulating acts were it abolished the practice of sati and allowed remarriage of widow. So if we discuss the positives of these regulating acts, it was successful in abolishing the practice of sati and allowed remarriage of widow. The social conscience that existed in the society was changed and those who enforced these acts were severely punished. So there was a kind of social conscience that was existent in that time where that woman has to practice sati after death of her husband and also she can't remarry anyone after death of her husband. So these kind of social evils were abolished by these acts and a kind of social conscience was created and those who are enforcing these kind of acts on women were now severely punished. So these are some of the positives that we can discuss from these regulating acts. Modern education was introduced by Lord Macaulay and Imperial Civil Services and Indian Penal Code were codified. So modern education was introduced by Lord Macaulay. We will be discussing that in the Regulating Act of 1813. And also Imperial Civil Services and Indian Penal Code were also codified by these regulating acts. In the year 1773, this regulating act was passed. So the first regulating act was passed in the year 1773. So let us discuss why this act was passed in this year. During the rule of East India Company, it used to pay very less salaries to its employees. So to recover this loss of pay, they were asked to undergo private trading. So the East India Company was paying very less salaries to its employees. So to recover this loss of pay, its employees were asked to carry out private trading. So because of this private trading, large corruption was going on. So due to this, large corruption was taking place. So East India Company was making loss and officials were making profits. So because of this, the East India Company was significantly making loss, whereas its officials were making profits. Because of this corruption, the British government in London got very less from India. So the British government in London, they were getting very less funds from this East India Company. As they were making significant loss, the East India Company applied for a loan of £1 million. So the reason why the British government passed this regulating act in the year 1773 was this was the year when the East India Company applied for a loan of £1 million. So the British government questioned the East India Company about the taxes they were collecting in India. So the British government questioned East India Company that what they were doing with all the taxes and the funds that they were getting in India. When the British government got aware of the corruption of these East India Company officials, they introduced these regulating acts. So East India Company was regularly making losses, but their officials were making profits. So when this British government got aware of the corruption of these East India Company officials, they introduced these regulating acts to regulate the policies of this East India Company, and they wanted to abolish the monopoly of East India Company, and now the British government will be directly ruling India. So lack of proper administration and practice of corruption made East India Company to lose their monopoly. So lack of proper administration and practice of this corruption were the reasons why the East India Company lost their monopoly. Reasons behind 1773 Act. So first reason was territorial expansion. It will be and was always the prime motive of the British government. Corruption amongst the servants of the company. Lack of proper judicial administration. Lack of proper central authority. Deteriorating financial condition of the company. Company's defeat in 1769 at the hands of Hyder Ali. So in the first Anglo-Mysore War, when these Britishers were defeated in the hands of Hyder Ali, so it was also one of the reasons for the 1773 Act. Terrible famine in Bengal, and the most important reason was the company applied for a loan of £1 million in 1772. So why you need loan when you are collecting huge amount of taxes in India? So this was the main question that was questioned by the British government to this East India Company. Changes in England. So what were the changes that was happening in England so that the British government was forced to pass this regulating act? Educated and elite class people of England were against the monopoly of East India Company. So the educated and elite class people didn't like the monopoly that was given to East India Company by the British. So they too wanted to come to India, they too wanted to trade with India. So they asked the British government to abolish the monopoly of East India Company so that they can also carry out the trade with India. They too wanted to trade with India and wanted to handle the administration of the East India Company. So they too wanted to trade with India and also they too wanted to handle the administration of the East India Company. Various parliamentary committees were established. So various parliamentary committees were established and they were demanding to abolish the monopoly of the East India Company. The Court of Directors of East India Company were asked to submit all the important documents coming from India before two British cabinet ministers. So Court of Directors were the head of this East India Company. So they were asked to submit all the important documents to the British cabinet ministers. So this Court of Directors from now will be submitting all the important documents before British cabinet ministers. So one is a Chancellor of Exchequer and Secretary of State for Political Affairs. So this Court of Directors has to submit the important documents to Chancellor of Exchequer and Secretary of State for Political Affairs. All the important documents of political affairs like wars, treaties, territories captured have to be submitted to Secretary of State for Political Affairs. So if you want to carry out any kind of war, if you want to sign any kind of treaties and if you want to capture any territory, you have to get the prior consent of the Secretary of State for Political Affairs. Important changes. So now we are going to discuss about the important changes that happened after the passing of this Regulating Act of 1773. So Governor of Bengal was now appointed as Governor General of Bengal. Governor of Bengal was now appointed as the Governor General of Bengal. So now he will be supreme and will supervise the other two councils, that is Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras. So now the Governor General of Bengal will be made supreme and he will supervise the two councils, that is Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras. So now the Governor of Bombay and Madras will be working under Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal will now function with the 4 council members elected by the British Parliament. So this Governor General of Bengal will function with the 4 council members who are elected by the British Parliament. So the complete authority is not in the hands of Governor General of Bengal, but he has to take the prior consent of the council of members who are appointed by the British Parliament. So if you remember, in the second Anglo-Maratha War, in the first Anglo-Maratha War, we discussed about the rift between the Governor General of Bengal and Governor of Bombay. So if you want to revise that things, you can go and watch that videos. First Governor of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. So was the first Governor General of Bengal? It was the Lord Warren Hastings. So he was acting as Governor of Bengal at that time when this regulating act was passed, and he was appointed as Governor General of Bengal. So the Governor General of Bengal was made supreme and in the same time will work under the British Parliament. So the Governor General of Bengal was made supreme and he was given complete authority over the Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras, but he will be working under the British Parliament, that is under the Council of Ministers appointed by the British Parliament. So if other council fight a war and sign treaties, it should be done with prior consent of Governor General of Bengal. So any other council, that is the Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras, if they want to wage any kind of war or they want to sign any kind of treaties, they have to take prior consent of Governor General of Bengal. Established Supreme Court in Calcutta. So this is one of the important points, and please make a note, it will be important for your prelims examinations, that in the year 1773 when this regulating act was passed, Supreme Court was established in Calcutta. Now the employees were prohibited from indulging in corruption and were prohibited from accepting bribes and gifts from native people. So now the employees of East India Company cannot indulge in corruptions, as well as they are prohibited from accepting any kind of bribes and gift from native people. The Regulating Act of 1773 was an act of Parliament of Great Britain intended to overhaul the management of the East India Company's rule in India. So this Regulating Act of 1773 was passed in order to abolish the monopoly that was given to East India Company in India. The act did not prove to be a long-term solution to concerns over the company's affairs. So Pitt's India Act was therefore subsequently enacted in 1784 as a more radical reform. So the Regulating Act of 1773 did not yield that kind of result which was expected by the British government. We will be knowing in our next video when we discuss about the Pitt's India Act, why it was passed in the year 1784 and what was the failures of this Regulating Act of 1773. So we will be having a deep discussion of these things in our upcoming videos. So with this, we are concluding our today's session. Hope you understood everything about the Regulating Act of 1773, the importance of this Regulating Act and why it was passed and what are the consequences the East India Company has to face after the passage of this Act. So in our next class, we will be discussing of the Pitt's Act of 1784, reasons why it was passed and what were the failures of this Regulating Act of 1773. So if you like my video, please give a like, share these videos to your friends who are preparing for various competitive examinations and mainly the UPSC examination. And please subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So thanks for watching my video. Jai Hind.